This video is quite the mysterious one. The story goes that it was recorded by a man who was on a nightly work-related trip. He was traveling on a field road outside of town and quite a few miles away from any other residential area for that matter. Based on his reports, he felt pretty weirded out after seeing something or somebody standing at the side of the road. But that wasn't everything. Moments after, something even stranger happened. Is that a person? Somebody with their back turned towards the dashcam? But now look into the night sky. The driver of the truck was baffled, and of course, in his mind, he became witness of an UFO encounter that night. Could this be so? Did maybe an unidentified life form linger around at the side of the road? That's a scary thought. And how lucky of the man to capture this event on his dashcam that night. I mean, what else could this thing be? Most certainly related to that UFO. The next video was captured by a channel called Progetto Paranormal. The owner Goyo is a paranormal enthusiast who loves to go on expeditions together with some of his colleagues. Today they were documenting an area in the Jalisco region in Mexico, which apparently is a site full of urban legends. There are many disturbing stories about apparitions that are being seen and captured by tourists and locals alike. Local newspapers even report of many people that take a leap of faith there, and besides many injuries, there are of course some tragedies taking place, and it is believed that these incidents could be influenced by evil spirits in the area. Let's take a look.
Aquí se ve que no ha vivido gente mucho tiempo, o sea, como que para un vagabundo.
For some reason, this house in particular seems to inhabit a lot of energy. At least that is what Gojo heard. When he takes a few minutes to talk to the camera, there is something weird appearing right behind him.
Bien muchachos, pues este es el pueblo abandonado de la barranca.
¿Qué es eso?
¿Qué?
Allá.
Some people say it looks like the head of a female who's peeking into the frame. Coincidentally, other users argue that it might be related to the demon that is dwelling in Mario Lara's party store, which is not too far from the location. Maybe just a fluke. What could Goyo capture this afternoon? Of course there was no trace of any person once they went to check it out, so just a hoax or something really weird. Nikisha McDonald has shared the following creepy incident on her profile. The young woman tells us that she was alone at home that evening and that she simply was posing for a TikTok video. Afterwards, she saw something quite terrifying in the back of her apartment. Let's see.
Okay, so I put it on. But yeah, I always feel amazing when I have red lipstick on. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Nikisha was quite lost for words when there seemed to be another woman sitting in the back on the couch. Just moments prior, the couch was empty, but now there was a stranger sitting. Terrifying, if we believe her, and she was indeed alone at home. Could it have been an intruder that snuck in through the balcony door, perhaps? Whoever this is looks pretty human to me, so I'm not sure if I'd say this was a paranormal event, but maybe I'm wrong. In the end, we cannot fully say what transpired in here, but it certainly is unsettling, whoever we're seeing back there. The next video was recorded by urban explorer Urbex Hill, who in the two-part video series went to the abandoned Richmond Brothers factory. And wouldn't you know it, quite the number of mysterious events were unfolding in these dark and rundown hallways. Let's take a look. Did you see that? Some of his viewers see a shadow passing by here. Could that be so?
Hello?
After several items had been moved around and some odd shadows being captured, he makes it into another room, which seems to be part of the upper floor, and when he pans the camera around in there, something really frightening is being captured, that also wasn't seen at the time. A shadow person seems to be standing next to a pillar, which is extremely creepy. What was going on here? That night, many more unusual encounters took place in there. Now we are taking a look at some recordings from the infamous haunted Jefferson Hotel, which is known for its many strange ghost sightings. They have several surveillance cameras installed in this old historic building to capture any possible strange activity. Last night, one of the hotel employees got a motion alert on his phone. Apparently, something was seen on one of the upstairs cameras, which was impossible. because nobody but him and his wife were at the hotel. And it was 4 a.m. in the morning.
Up into the stairwell right here. I'm screen capturing, so just bear with the movement. So I went up to the stairwell here, and I'm looking down the hall, waiting to see for somebody. Noticed nobody was there, and then I went to tell my wife, because I wanted to tell her, hey, there's someone in the hotel. And then I started watching the footage back, and more it looked like some type of apparition. I don't know. What had happened here is, if you look down at the green door back here, that's room 19, where most of our activity happens here at the hotel anyway. There it is. So to me, that was a person walking by, and I was like, okay. So we searched the hotel. Like I said, nobody was there. So let me show it to you again.
Undoubtedly, we can see a figure walking by all the way in the back of the hallway. And like the man had stated, they searched the whole hotel, but could not find anybody. So, would it be too weird to think that we are seeing one of the many ghosts that are said to haunt the building? There has been another terrifying encounter though that took place when a group of guests stayed in the hotel overnight. On the same floor, they were just talking to each other at the time when something scared them from all across the hallway, just where we saw that figure walking by.
As I was watching the cameras, I noticed that they were talking to each other, and they all jumped back as if something was like yelling at them down the hall. You could see they were all scared. And so I pulled up the footage from the camera down the hall, which would have been down here because that's in the direction they were looking at. And this is what we captured. Listen to this. This is very creepy. So, did you hear that growl? That's what they heard.
Unfortunately, it will remain a mystery what exactly it was, if it was a growl from an angry spirit or something else. Another nightly recording. A different group of friends were hanging out at the playground at night. They were having a lot of fun and talked about the good old times when they were kids and loved to spend their afternoons in the park. It was until much later that the girl who was recording this night realized that she caught something really creepy on video. The following video has been sent by Trang. The user states that it was recorded by a dashcam one night in Malaysia. The driver of the vehicle was on the way home and, as always, had to take a pretty deserted stretch of road that leads through several little towns and areas. He stated that local legends tell about ghostly passengers that are asking for a ride. Could that be so? What is also to note is that the following incident wasn't noticed at the time, and only retrieved way later when the man was erasing some of the video footage on his memory stick. Let's take a peek. People say that an apparition might be waiting for a ride there, waving at cars that are driving by. Do you think that could be an explanation? If it wasn't a regular person, which based on the area is unlikely, what else could it have been? Considering the driver didn't see anything at the time, it's pretty chilling. following was an interesting recording posted by user Fluffy Furry Buddy. He states, "Just witnessed this on my baby monitor. What am I looking at?" Was it a guardian angel? Maybe the kid astral projecting? Or just a bug? This recording was sent in by Lewis, and he tells me that he found it in the paranormal subreddit. Apparently it was captured by a property owner who was waiting to catch the reason for some of the disturbances his family had to face in the past couple of nights. The motion sensor turned on several times and activated their security cameras outside of their property, and it's only supposed to do that should it recognize either a human or animal. But each time the camera got triggered, nothing ever showed up on the saved recordings. However, the following night was different, and when the man checked the recordings in the morning, he found something really strange looking. It appears that a woman is walking into the screen from the right side, but how? She must have been on the property already, since the entrance gate's to the left. Another oddity about this clip is that the woman just stops in her tracks and then disappears into thin air. Was it an artifact that was possibly caused by the rain? But that wouldn't trigger the emotion alert. Maybe the spirit of a lady who was visiting their property. Antonio was apparently staying at his cousin's place over a long weekend. Located in the basement, he made himself home and spent the long Sunday night with playing some Resident Evil on his Xbox. But as you have noticed, Antonio gets distracted by a strange noise, which appears to be stemming from one of the other rooms. While he keeps finding misplaced items scrambled all around the house, we can also make out some heavy orbs that can be seen in several frames of his recording. Interesting side note, this night he was the only person home. What at this point seems to be paranormal activity only worsens over time. What could have turned the sink on? Pretty freaked out, Antonio investigates each room in the house. It doesn't take long until he makes out a dark figure. Now a video from channel 01 Supernatural Studio, Taiwan Haunted or Taiwan Hunted. Unfortunately, the whole video description is in Taiwanese, so let's just hope for the best, tune subtitles on and hope that we understand something. Let's dive in. Alright. So what I can say is, I think that he believes this to be... What? No. He seems to be alone, and why would this be happening if there either is nobody else? Like, this does not make sense to me. I wish I would know a little bit more about the house he was investigating, but what is that? Is this just a friend of his? Is this caused by an object that I don't think would be realistic in this case, but what do I know? This video was sent by Eric and it was recorded by a young man in his apartment. He's just cooking dinner when he decides to start a video recording for some of his Facebook friends.
Wanna see my funny hat I got last weekend?
Which is a great opportunity to show off one of his new hats, which you could purchase at a store over the weekend.
It's my room.
So he makes it into his room and goes for the closet. He can't find the hat, but can capture something else. Was it a spirit that was lurking out of his closet here? People say they can recognize a face. What do you think? This video starts off in an old school in Argentina. In the early morning hours, a neighbor had called the police because he saw that the door to the school had been left open and was concerned, which caused several officers to arrive at the scene. After they had arrived, they quickly realized that nobody had forced their entry into the building. The locks were still intact. Nevertheless, they make their way through the abandoned corridors. Bodycam captured them entering and exploring several parts of the school, and nobody seemed to be around at first. But after a moment, the camera seems to capture an unexplained shape. Did you see it again? At first it appeared to be a child, but then it almost looked like a woman in a white dress. What do you think? Was it an apparition?